This is Never Gallimore from the Dallas Cowboys, and I want to give a major shout out to Mike Tag. Keep bringing the hype to the Cowboys Nation. We love and appreciate it. Now, can you dig it? Let's get it.
Hey, I told you guys! Don't go marrying just one yet! All I've heard for the last 5 weeks is we want Dallas! So all you haters, you come down to me! You fuel the fire! Because I want it! What you gonna say? Hey, you dig it!
What is up? It's your boy Mike Tag. We got a great show lined up. We got a lot to get to, so I ain't gonna waste no time. But I'll just say, make sure you guys hit that subscribe, like, share, do all that good stuff. You got to share the word to Cowboys Nation because we're bringing it. And before I waste any more time, let's get my man Kelly K9 in the house. What's going on, brother?
What's happening, Mike?
It's been a very busy day. Very busy day. I got 4 cameos today that I had to do right before the show. So my voice is already losing my voice. It's hard to scream. You know how it is, man. You can only scream and yell so long. You know, they can't be doing these four or five times. But also had a great interview with Dexter Carter. We're going to play a little bit of that in a few minutes. So jam-packed. Plus, we got Uncle Cheech has got to make an appearance because, you know, we had a little trick because of the Monday night game. He's on and, you know, picking the game. So we got to get him taken care of. But Uncle Cheech is getting late, so we're going to get him going early, if you don't mind, if we could do that.
Let's bring him on in.
All right, well, we're going to get Uncle Cheech on first, guys. And if you guys aren't part of the Monday night show, you guys need to check it out with me and Jimmy D. We got Uncle Cheech. He's a Vegas insider. I mean, this man, he knows all. He does all. He's been making a lot of people a lot of money. And one thing that we didn't do is he picked a Cowboy, just to give you, people knew, and for you, Kelly. So he usually picks all the games. Uncle Cheech, that's Kelly K9.
How's it going?
How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm digging the fit.
Yeah, he's the Paisan. He's a Vegas insider. He's been making a lot of money. But I was having to pick the Cowboy game, and he didn't pick all of them, but then he picked the Cowboys to beat the Packers. And we know what happened. So I got a strict rule. The man's a jinx. I don't want him picking none of my teams on the show no more. But with playoff time, we need, people want Uncle Cheech's thoughts. So we did a little thing with it to make sure he put it in an envelope, sealed it up, did not say anything. Then he was going to reveal it on the next show. Unfortunately, it was Monday, so he couldn't do it. So Uncle Cheech, I want to know, what did you end up doing with this Cowboy Bucks game? Did you listen to me? Did you listen to Kelly, or did you go rogue on us?
First of all, I'll narrow it down real quick. I picked all 5 winners.
All 5 winners.
All
Very
5.
nice.
Oh, nice.
Only one team didn't cover. And you know who that was.
That must have been Buffalo. Almost lost the house on that one.
I feel like we need a drum roll going on here.
All right, Uncle Cheech.
That guy's a turnover machine. Dallas. Ryan Springs.
Hey, he took the Cowboys. The man knows what he's doing. Finally listen.
No brainer. Yeah, no chance. No chance.
So did we put Brady in retirement? Do you think he's done?
Somebody like that's like an old boxer. They don't know when to quit. I don't think he's done.
You don't think he's done?
He'll just go someplace else. A year or 2.
All right. So more importantly, we got the Cowboys Niners. I don't know if you know. I had Dexter Carter. We interviewed him. We talked a lot about Miami, Florida State. So I'm going to be playing that full interview after the show. That'll be dumping on YouTube. So make sure you guys check that out. So I know you're a Miami Hurricane fan, so you're going to love to hear a little bit about that. He's going to come back on, and we're all going to talk a little bit more as well. So
very good.
All right. Wait a minute.
What?
We've got someone wanting to know if Uncle Cheech is single.
Oh yeah, single.
Oh.
You know it, baby.
You like it like
Oh,
Yeah.
that.
I'm going to give you my picks for the week, except for Dallas, and then I got Dallas. I'm going to seal the envelope up.
All right, let's hear what you
Dallas
say.
49 a game. I'm going to take Kansas City over Jacksonville. Minus Kansas City minus 8.5. Good job by Jacksonville. Doug Peterson, but they're not there yet. I think Kansas City take care of them. My upset of the week, in case you didn't watch the show last week, I'm going to take the Giants plus 7.5 over Philly.
So you're taking the Giants in the points, but who do you got winning that game? I'm curious from an expert like you.
Oh, okay. I'm just doing it with the points.
I'm just asking.
I'm not saying they're going to win. I think the
I
Giants.
know. I want to know what your opinion is. Who wins the game outright, though?
I think the Giants win outright.
That's what I want to hear.
all
All right, I
right.
like that one.
I'm
You're on
down
my
with
good
that.
side today, Uncle Cheech.
My next game, Cincinnati plus 4 over Buffalo.
I like that too.
He's going to get picked at least 3-4 times. Nobody talks about him getting picked. They just
That's-
talk about Dak.
That's what I'm talking
I'm
about.
no big
Finally.
Cowboy fan, but I'm just telling you the way I see it. He
Absolutely.
got picked 3 times last week against the lowly Miami Dolphins.
And he has 5 interceptions in the red zone this year. I haven't heard too much talk about that on ESPN or
I
anything.
think Joe Burrow's a better quarterback. I think they win the game even though they're at home. I'll take Cincinnati.
I like that.
Look for the Dallas game was in this envelope. I got the date, today's date on here. My initials, UC, Uncle Cheech.
Very nice.
We'll hear them next week.
You'll be a Monday night. We're back to Saturday, Sunday. So Monday's show, we're going to reveal the pick. Right now, Uncle Cheech is riding high on a winning streak. So hopefully that continues. And you better not mess up that Cowboys pick. You'd be fired. I know you got Tulsa King. I know Tulsa King's talking to you. You're trying to leave our show for Tulsa King, but you remember where your bread's buttered.
All right, I'm going to try to watch that Buffalo game. Remember what I told you. Going to turn the ball over 3-4 times.
What do you think, Kelly? You agree with his assessment so far?
I do. I'm gonna, and then considering he was a perfect last week, I'm gonna have to. I wrote notes down, and I'm gonna call my bookie up as soon as the show's over.
No parlays.
No.
So, all right.
I get a hold of my pal Carmenuch. She'll take your bet.
How is Carmenuch doing? It was Carmenuch the one who was hurt.
Carmenuch, he's on the road to recovery.
Very
Terrible.
good.
I told him. Don't do it. Don't do it. I don't know if you heard the story. My pal Carmenuch came, had a little party for his wedding anniversary, and decided to renew his vows. Going to carry his wife over the threshold. But he forgot. He's 40 years older. She's 200 pounds heavier. Ended up pulling his back out, and I'd been in bed for 2 weeks.
You gotta be smarter than that. He's got to be smarter than that. But hopefully he gets better soon. So,
Will.
all right,
All right, guys. You have a good show.
all right,
See you next week.
all right. We'll see you Monday. Take care, Uncle Cheech. Appreciate it. All right, that was Uncle Cheech. So I don't know if you've seen the shows or seen him, but he's definitely a character. But he's knowledgeable. I mean, I give him that.
Yeah,
the man knows what he's doing. So talking about Dexter Carter, we had a great interview. Had a great interview with him. We're definitely going to have him on again. I wanted to play a couple clips, and then we were going to get started his 49ers game. But I wanted to get his opinion of the game. I played for the 49ers. For you guys who don't know, some of you young guys, he was a 1990 first-round draft pick for the 49ers. Played at Florida State in those heated rivalries with Miami in the late 80s. And then, obviously the huge games in the 90s with the Cowboys. So he's a great guy. Now become a friend of the show. So he'll definitely be on again. And so I just want to play this. Now, this is new technology I'm trying, so hopefully I don't screw it up. But let's just get that on there and see if there. What's your feeling of this match? Back this up, and here we go. Little rivalry going. You guys got us last year in the playoffs. Now we're going to your place, and hopefully we can return the favor.
Yeah. It's good to see this rivalry reignited. And being honest, I think the Cowboys are fortunate to be there. I think what the D coordinator for the 49ers have done with the talent that he has on that team and the system and the strategic way that he play those players. I think they're number one in every single category, and it's not by surprise. That's what they do. If they keep guys healthy, any offense is going to be challenged that goes up against the 49ers. And the 49ers, if they can keep Debo healthy and that receiving core and that offensive line, they're going to have some running backs.
More.
Oh yeah. Yeah, one thing about Shanahan, he was about 10 years old running around the field when his daddy was the coordinator. And the one thing him and his dad is gonna do, they are gonna have a running game. And and if he'd have ran the ball even more, well, no, I'm not gonna say that. I was gonna
say if he would have taken that advice in the Super Bowl, maybe they wouldn't have been laughed at. Be up 28-3 and lose it.
That's where I was gonna go with it, but you said it, so hey, I don't have to say it. But that running game they're gonna have, and I think he learned his lesson. And I think now Cowboys got a good defense now.
Yeah, you hurt me. You're sitting there saying we're lucky to be here. I don't understand it.
Yeah,
we got the offense.
Yeah. I say that because the way you guys have fluctuated and played this year. I mean, you've under what performed?
How?
I mean, because
you're hurting my feelings. San Francisco lost to Chicago. They lost to Atlanta. They lost to the Broncos. I mean, underperformed. What are you talking about, man?
Right. But look, we've gone through 3 quarterbacks. We've gone through 3.
Backup went 4-1.
Our big time tackle, was hurt. I mean, Samuels was hurt a number of times this year. So at the end of the day, all these NFL teams are good.
Yeah.
Nothing away from them. But even Cowboy fans themselves have criticized Dak Prescott's performance, which I personally didn't totally agree with it. But the way y'all played this week compared to previous weeks, man, you guys just played head and heads above what y'all had played in the past. So I just personally think that one, y'all don't match up well with the 49ers because their offense.
Telling we're too finesse? Is that what you're saying?
Say it again.
You're saying we're too finesse?
You know what? I don't know if it's too finesse or not. I do think getting Hilton is a positive thing.
Yeah.
Because it forces 88 to do what he does because he can play.
Oh yeah.
But a lot of people forget Michael Irvin would have did what he did anyway. But I'm gonna tell you, a lot of people forget about 80.
Tony, who are you talking about?
Back in the day.
Oh, Alvin Harper, you talking about?
Alvin Harper? Ooh, man, Alvin Harper, made things difficult for us about as much as Irvin did. And I think T.Y. Hilton has that potential. But I still say if our secondary is healthy with that line putting the pressure, because it ain't always how good your secondary is. It's what that first and second level is doing to Dak Prescott.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the difference because y'all got a good defense, but I just think, Cal Shanahan is going to run that ball and he's going to call plays that is not going to put Purdy in a difficult situation. And Purdy makes good, sound decisions that work in Cal's system.
Yeah, and I think what they do is what Shanahan does. His dad did it with the Broncos. the way they run the ball and misdirections and things like that. Cowboys defense has got to stay very disciplined. If they make one mistake, one guy's off, McCaffrey could take it to the house. So that's going to be the challenge, for the Cowboys. But I think that we're more physical than we were last year. I think Parsons is 1 year better. I think he's going to be there. LVE's back. We're healthy. I think both of our teams are pretty healthy. So I always say the best team wins, and anything happens on a Sunday, and it's going to be an exciting game. I personally think Dallas is going to win, but what am I supposed to say? I'm a Cowboys fan. I never understand.
I know.
All the 49er fans come bash me. The one thing I'll say, I do a lot of videos. I do hype videos and this and that. The one fan base that searches me out are the 49ers. I got to hear bang, bang, 49er gang and all this stuff. So I have so much respect for the 49ers. It's, so it's hard to trash talk them because I just love these two teams are so historic. I mean, you go back to the 80s, early 80s, and the rivalries that they had. And I'm excited. I think it's going to be a great game. So you're living still in South Georgia?
Yes. I live in Evans, Georgia, near I'm 20 minutes from the Masters golf tournament.
Oh, okay. Perfect. I was going to say, I didn't know if you're going out to the game, but that's
no, not this one, my man. Not this one.
I know. I had some of my followers and stuff.
It's going to be a good game. I do think his potential to be a two touchdown win by the 49ers, in my opinion. Only, if there's no turnovers, I think 49ers win by 2 scores.
Yeah.
But and I think in the NFC, in my opinion, I think Philadelphia has the potential to give us a run. So that's who I think it'll come down to in the NFC, in my opinion. But
we are going to beat you. I can't sit here and allow you to disrespect my team. 2 touchdowns with Purdy, a third-string quarterback. We're going to jump on you early, put the game in his hands, and let's see what he can do. That's what I think is going to happen. And
hey, I'm looking forward to that because Purdy. People think, oh, he's Mr. Irrelevant. No, you're talking about a kid that played for a Power 5, started for 4 straight years, and played extremely well. So he was much better than a Mr. Irrelevant tag.
No, he's doing good. I'm excited. It'll be fun, but I know you got to run. I know you got, Banquet to hit too. So we got to do it again. I'm begging and pleading because there's so much I want to ask you. So yeah.
Hey, and follow me on IG and Twitter, which is Dexter Carter. Dexter Carter.
I'll put it in the link, and we're gonna talk again because there's so much, so much else we got to do. But
absolutely,
I know you got to run, so I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I look forward to talking to you again. It's gonna be a good game. I might do to you what Dante Hall. I saw Dante Hall Saturday in Tampa. He laughed at me. We went at it because he said Dallas is gonna get beat, and he said he's going to be thinking of me Monday. So Monday, I sent him a message. I said, hey, man, I just want to make sure you're doing all right. Were you thinking of me in that beatdown that we gave Tampa? And he just laughed. But it's all in good fun. I love sports and love talking to you guys. And have a great weekend. Enjoy it. I hope the Cowboys win. But more importantly, I hope it's a great game.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. Hey, you're now my favorite dual Hurricane and Cowboy fan. So you're my guy. But before you go, I just wanted you to see this. I wanted you to see this.
Oh man,
see that right there? They got their butt beat. So, game ball. So we're gonna get another one this Sunday.
We're gonna see what happens. It's gonna be fun. So I appreciate it. We got to do it again. Definitely do it again. Thank you so
Mike,
much.
My pleasure, man. Right. You take care, and we will get together again.
All righty. All right, sorry about that. Hopefully the audio was all right. Let's get this thing back to normal. So I wanted to get Kelly's response. What'd you think of that? What'd you think of his comments?
I mean, he kind of like sound like the Michael Irvin of the Cowboys a little bit, Just maybe not as much gospel in his voice when he was speaking on it, but I mean, come on, man, two touchdown win.
Oh,
I'm not buying that. I mean, if for some reason the Cowboys lose, if we were to lose, I think it would be a very tight game. I think it'd come down to the fourth quarter. I think it'd be a tight game. I don't see us losing though. I don't. I've gotten more confident. Last week's game for me was a huge confidence boost, and I know that it was, Tampa Bay and then 8-9 and Tom Brady wasn't whatever, but the way that the Cowboys played mistake-free football, didn't turn the ball over. I mean, they played very sound football against, a defense that was pretty solid. They carved them up. And they ran well against them on a defense. It's good against the run. Now, granted, San Francisco's a lot better defense, but yeah, I don't see that. But he definitely is a character, though. I like that though. So
no, and it was unfortunate. We did have some video issues. He's going to get it correct. I don't know. Between this and Brad Johnson, we had issues with the phone and da. So I'm telling you, we're going to get him back on. He's good. I'm telling you, he's good. And
yeah.
We broke into some of the Dallas Cowboy rivalry. Couldn't get into it as deep. He only had about 40 minutes. We talked about the Hurricanes. He played with Deion Sanders at the Niners and at Florida State. He was on the 4x100 relay team. Get this team. It was him. It was Sammy Smith. It was Deion Sanders. And it was another guy, I can't remember his name, but he was an Olympian in 1984, 1988 or something like that. So, I mean, the guy, he has a lot. He's been around a lot of history, played with Joe Montana, Steve Young. Obviously, he was part of the 90s when the Cowboys were there. So we're going to get him on. We're just doing straight Cowboys and really dissect that and talk about that history. But he's a good dude. It's all in fun. Just like, hey, you ain't never going to hear me say the Cowboys are going to lose. I don't care who we're playing. And I wouldn't expect he played with the Niners. But the funny thing is, he told me afterwards, he was a Cowboys fan growing up. And his dad was a big Cowboys fan and his family was a Cowboys fan. So he grew up a Cowboys fan. Then he had to convert to 49ers when he got drafted. The one thing I wanted to ask him, we just ran out of time. When you're a fan of a team and then you go play, for another team, do you still root for the team you grew up with? Like I just find it so hard that I can never not root for the Cowboys. Even I moved to Tampa. I didn't become a Bucs fan. I'm a Cowboys fan. So
right.
I just wonder how a player thinks that, and do they maybe go back when they retire? Or do they go back as being the fan of the team they grew up with?
That's a good question. Good question for him. But I mean, yeah, it's funny because I feel like all those guys are loyal to the team that they played with at that time, and they're going to be loyal. And so I don't expect anything else from them. I didn't expect it. I think Dallas is going to win this game. You know what I mean? If it was a regular season game and it was just two teams and, maybe San Francisco wasn't that good, then maybe I could see him being like, yeah, Dallas is probably going to come in here. But it's two playoff teams, man. So, of course, he's got to ride with his guys.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now, more importantly, I'm trying to figure out who was hitting on Uncle Cheech, because you got to drop the number in there, maybe slide into his DM on the Twitter and hook the old man up. Just don't kill him. But we get him on the show. But now, all kidding aside, the chats are hopping. I mean, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. And I think, looking in the chat room, a lot of them is, the common theme I'm hearing, and I talked about it too with Dexter's. I mean, they've got some bad losses. The strength of schedule isn't very impressive. So, I mean, Purdy has been, we're the best team, period, that he's going to play. And, he hadn't seen someone like Parsons. He hadn't seen Tank. He hadn't seen, the pass rush that we have. So it's going to be interesting to see how he handles that pressure. That's why I said, if we jump on him early and we can make that running game, where they kind of don't commit to it as much, it's going to be very interesting to see how he handles it.
Yeah, well, my whole thing was that the one thing that got me, the one thing that he said, I guess, that stood out to me was that he said that it'd be a 2-touchdown game versus the Cowboys, but he thinks the Eagles would give them a run. Well, if you think the Eagles are going to give you a run, then the Cowboys the Cowboys got a better defense than Philly. So, I mean, if you think that the Philly can give you a competition, why wouldn't you think Dallas? That's what I would like. Where do you get that?
I need you there. You had to remind me. We dropped 40 on them with our team.
Yeah. I mean, did you see what we did to that Philly defense? I mean, come on now. I mean, we can hang with some of the best teams out there. So, and we, as far as injuries, we've overcome a lot too. I mean, we lost our starting left tackle game 1. We lost our quarterback game 1. We lost,
right tackle's gone for the year.
Right tackle gone for the year. We lost DB Jordan Lewis. We had a slew of injuries, and it really hasn't slowed us down. They've had a couple of road bump games, but overall, I think their bad losses are worse than our losses if you stack them up. And And it's a rookie quarterback. And if we get after him early, which I feel like the key to it is Dan Quinn coming up with some creative blitz packages to get after him, pressure him, even if they don't get a sack, put a body on him, hit him, make him uncomfortable. I mean, you've seen quarterbacks unravel rather quickly, rather quickly. And I think that Purdy's time is up on Sunday.
Yeah. I mean, Tom said it too. I mean, pressure's a key. And that's really what it's going to come down to for us, is getting that pressure. But more importantly, it's true, kind of what we're talking about with the run game. They do run their scheme of running is impressive, and you've got to be disciplined. And if the Cowboys lose that discipline, not stay in their lane and stick with their assignment and get kind of try and do too much, right? And we've seen with this defense sometimes in some of these games where we've been gashed in the run game, it's really, guys trying to do too much. And we haven't seen it lately. I mean, I think I'm thinking, confident Quinn's going to be able to, kind of fix that. That was earlier in the season. But that's really, again, because they have some home run hitters. I mean, McCaffrey, I mean, they got 2 running backs that can take it to the house. So we have got to obtain that soon, early, and put it in that quarterback's hands. And you know what? We'll find out if he's half the quarterback that all the media and all these guys claim him to be.
Yeah, that's right. It's I know last year, and I'm curious to see what Dan Quinn will do different than what he did last year. I know last year they really took advantage of our defensive and even Michael Parsons' aggressiveness.
Yeah.
And they ran a lot of plays his side of the field because they went right at him. Mm-hmm. They knew that this guy is keyed in, locked in on the quarterback, and they took advantage of that, and they took advantage of it often and early. And I felt like towards the end of the game, he started to kind of be a little bit more aware of that. They started catching on to what they were doing. So I'm going to be curious how aggressive they'll be with that, and with Parsons. Are they going to just unleash him as pass rusher, or are they going to play him back at linebacker a little bit more and kind of, be a guy who can stick on a guy like McCaffrey out of the backfield? So it'll be interesting to see, but I'm excited. I think Dan Quinn's have this defense ready, and I'm excited to see it, man. I don't think Purdy is great as well as he's played. He hasn't played anybody even close to the caliber of this Cowboys defense.
No. And if you really watch the Seattle game, he was playing very bad. Was playing bad in the game. It was a tight game. Seattle was leading at halftime. Now, you guys, I mean, Dexter was talking about it, or I had a guy, not even Dexter, was a 49er fan, giving me their signature wins. In Seattle, he named it, we beat them 3 times signature win. Seattle wasn't that good. I mean, call it for what it is. Their record is indicative of the crappy division that they were in. Well, let's call it for what it is. I mean, did they overachieve a little bit? But I mean, Geno Smith in Seattle leading them at halftime. That gave me more confidence. Gave me more confidence. And I think, so I can't find the win. Dolphins, you had 2 recovering from concussion. Tampa, they beat Tampa pretty good. They gave them a good beating. But is that a signature win? We gave them a beating. They give us our signature win for that. Kansas City destroyed them. And, talk about this defense and this great defense. Kansas City lit them up. And then, what's his name? Stinchcomb or whatever. And at the Raiders, they lit them up. So this defense can be scored upon.
Oh, yeah. They're not, they're number one in a lot of these categories. Like he said, I think they're number one in all these categories. Well, that's, in my opinion, don't get me wrong. I think their defense is solid. But it's easy to be number one in all those categories when you're playing the Arizona Cardinals twice a year, who are awful. Seattle, who, let's face it, is good as a year that Geno Smith had and showed that he's capable of being a starting quarterback, got his team in the playoffs. He's still no world beater. So, I mean, I'm not drinking the San Francisco defense Kool-Aid that defense can't be scored on, because they can.
Yep.
And all it takes is for Dak to get in that rhythm, show a little patience like he did in that Tampa Bay game. Might not be the very first drive that they go down the field and score, but keep your patience, stick to the game plan, and then let it and then let it go, man, because I think that I think our defense will keep us in the game, and I think Dak is going to be the key to putting us over the top. I think he's going to have a good game again.
Yeah, and I mean DK Metcalf, what was he, 10 for 170 or something like that, crazy in the game. So I mean I expect CeeDee Lamb to have have good matchups and have he's gonna light them up.
Yeah.
Tight ends, the key, it's really you got Bosa there, right? So I mean their defensive front is stout. It's Tyron Smith looked pretty good, right? He looked kind of back to form. He's getting better and better. So I mean, Tampa was a good game for him. Tyler Smith, and now you got Peters. Yeah, we're probably going to be better off with Tyler Smith at left tackle and Tyron Smith and right tackle rather than having Peters there. Give us a bit more, on the outside with them. And but it'll be interesting to see where Bosa lines up and how, if he lines up over Tyler, how they handle that. Are they going to give some help on it, or leave that young guy in the island and say, hey, figure it out. You've done pretty good all year and see what happens.
Yeah, and I like what David down here said about I love being the underdogs. I embrace that role as well. I love it when we're not the favorite, when we're not the media darling that everybody's picking on. Because even in this Tampa Bay game, where a lot of us Cowboys fans had faith that we could get this win against Tampa, there was a lot of people in the media that were not picking Dallas. There was a lot of people that were picking Tampa. A lot of people. Even the pregame show that I was watching before the game started, there was 5 people picking. 3 of the 5 picked Tampa Bay. So, and I feel like this one's going to be even more lopsided. I feel like this is going to be closer across the board. That I'd say it's probably going to be an 80-20 type here split when you look at all these media guys that are going to be picking San Francisco, because it's like nobody's giving the Cowboys a chance, and it's one of those things where I'm scratching my head like, is it that big? What are they seeing that I'm not seeing? Because I'm watching these games. I've watched the whole season, the Cowboys, and I've watched at least 2 or 3 San Francisco games, and I'm like, what am I missing here? Like, is it just you guys are judging it off of last year is what I feel like is going on. They remember what they saw last year. It's not the same 2 teams. These are 2 totally different teams. I don't see it. I don't see it. But I love being underestimated because I'm starting to get this feeling that Dak is going to have a signature playoff run, and he's ready to start shutting people the hell up.
Yeah, and we talked about it. The Tampa game there was so much pressure, right? And this is where I'll give Dak a lot of credit, because he's pressure's privilege, and he was you could not be under more pressure than he was and this team was. We had to hear 30 years. We had to hear Tom Brady, and he could just turn it on, and Dallas can't 7-0 and all these different things, and then they come off a bad game. Everyone was waiting for the Cowboys to lose. I mean, the whole world, the whole world was waiting for it. It didn't happen. We blow them out, really, like we were supposed to. I mean, let's call it for what it is. We did exactly what we were supposed to do. Now, the media that said it wasn't going to be done and we're going to be that, now they're saying, well, that was what they were supposed to do.
Yeah,
it's just funny how it always works. And now it's this team. And now, Stephen A., we know his shtick. Now there's no way they're going to beat San Francisco. So it's going to be interesting. We're going to show up anyway. Cowboys are going to, Cowboys, like I said, against Tampa, the media made it seem like maybe we shouldn't show up. We did. We beat the hell out of them. They'll show up to San Francisco. Now, the league didn't do us no favors, playing on Monday night. You got a Sunday, the 49ers got a couple days rest. But I love McCarthy. Made no excuse about it. That's not going to be anything there. This team's ready. They're healthy, right? For the most part, we don't have any significant injuries. LVE was fine. All these guys, Parsons, looked like he got a little nicked up, but he was fine, played the whole game. So we're going to bring it. And we're going to find out how good this San Francisco team is. And we're going to see if they're as tough and as bad as their fans claim them to be. And we're going to see if this rookie quarterback is as good as the world claims him to be. So it's going to be a fun game. 6:30, right? 6:30 Eastern. It's going to be a night game. It's going to be, it is just, visions of 92 all over again. And we know how that ended 3-10. So I'm expecting Dallas to come out victorious. And hopefully the Giants can just help us out a little bit.
Just a little bit. It's that's what I mean. We both talked about it. That's the matchup we'd like to see, just because we get to host an NFC Championship game. But honestly, when it all boils down to it, I don't care if we're playing the Eagles in Philly or if we're playing the Giants. I feel like if we Yeah, I feel like if we win this game right here, I think we're going to the Super Bowl. I don't think that either Philly or New York. I think we're playing really good football right now. And it's what I laugh about though when it comes to like whether it's 49ers fans or whether it's people on the media or whatever, it's like they want you to walk in there with your head down. It's like, well, you guys aren't. But what am I supposed to do, man? First of all, I'm a Cowboys fan. Second of all, I watch this team religiously. I've seen every single game they've played. What do you expect me to do? You want me to sit there and say my team's going to lose? First of all, I don't think that because I've seen them play the game. I know their potential. I know what they're capable of. I know this team can win. So no, I'm not going to sit there and concede and say that I think we're losing. Had people at work telling me all week, enjoy it. I only got a couple more days. And I keep telling them, I'm like, you guys are going to be miserable on Monday when I show up to work because I'm showing up again in full Cowboys regalia, ready to just run you guys into the dirt. I remember everything you guys say, man. Coming back to haunt you all.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Being a Cowboys fan, it's you have two sides of the Cowboy fans. You've got probably our side a little bit. I'm going to be positive, and now I'm going to treat them like you would family, right? I'm going to be upset. I'm gonna have to call it for what it is, but no one else is going to bash my Cowboys. Now, if I want to critique them, I'm going to do it, but I don't let anyone outside the family do it. But at the end of the day, I have that 24-hour rule. I'm going to be upset, I bitch and moan, but I'm focused on the next week. And that's the way it was with Washington. We all know that was embarrassing. I mean, we don't need to say any more about it. It was, but you still can't forget all those games before. And like I said, even the losses, they played very well, except for Tampa, right? It was sandwiched, 2 bad games sandwiched in the last game. So that's why I knew that we have we got the potential. Tampa didn't have one good game the whole year. So we're going to slap them. Now, San Francisco, 11-game win streak. You got to give them credit for it. I don't care who they played. I mean, that's pretty damn hard to do.
It is.
But I'm one of those guys, too, that, man, when you keep winning that much, man, the law of averages has to come correct soon.
It does, and pressure builds with every win that they have. Pressure builds with every single win that they get to keep on winning. And, eventually, when does that pressure become too much? So, yeah, I mean, I try to maintain as much of an even keel as I can. I know after that Washington game, I was not in a good place. And I get people that are telling me, I remember after the Washington game, you said we might, we'd get embarrassed by Tampa Bay. And I said, but after I was able to calm down, cool, and collect my head, I said, I came on the show. I was on the show and I predicted that we were going to win 42-20. I said, I got faith in my team. I'll bounce back. I said, I never stay low too long, man. We get a bad loss. I need that 24 hours to kind of.
Exactly. I mean, we all know that.
Yeah.
You're the voice of, it's like I told you, I wish I could say some of the things that you say. I just can't. I might get a lot of trouble. So I can't do that. So I just watch your video and say, God, yeah, damn right. That's how I feel.
Yeah, exactly. And then, 24 hours later, we'll walk a couple of those things back and say, all right, you know what? I know what I said here. I just venting. I had to get it out of my system. It's out of my system. Now let's go get this win. So, but I'm excited about this game. I'm anytime the Cowboys play the 49ers, it's just one of my favorite rivalries, period. Obviously we got the NFC East rivals, but outside the NFC East, it's the 49ers. I love it. The history, tradition-rich history between two tradition-rich teams, man.
Yeah, and it's just the look, I don't know, even the look of the uniforms together clashing.
They do.
You can take it at that. It's just, I don't know, it's just something about that. It's just between that one classic. And then Steelers Cowboys. It's just like you look at both of those. It's just, it's classic. It never gets tired, never gets old, and it really doesn't matter, what the records are, whatever it is. It's always cool to see. But now that it means, I mean, we're here where it means something, and now they got us. Now we gotta repay, we gotta repay the favor back to them. And I fully expect it. And just curious with you, being a fan for a while. So during the dark days, Dave Campo days, did you still, by game time, could you still talk yourself in to the Cowboys winning?
Yeah.
I mean, it was a crazy
So here's the thing. What I'd get to the point where I was so beat down that I didn't expect to win, but I thought, maybe we can still get this win, and if we did, then I was elated because it's like, you know what, hey, I got we won one, and the 5 and the 3 back, consecutive 11 seasons with Campo was awful, but you'd get people would take it a little bit more easy on you. I feel like people took it a little bit easier on me when we were 5-11, because I'd walk in on Monday and the Cowboys haters that didn't like the Cowboys. It was in Texas, so it wasn't a ton of them, but there was still some. But walk in Monday morning, they kind of give me a look and say, "What's up, you Cowboys?" And I'd be like, "Man, we're just not a good football team. We're just, we're not good." And what do you want me to say, man? But I watched every single game. I haven't missed a Cowboys game, and I think it's going on 20. It's been since 2003. Since 2003, I've never missed a Dallas Cowboys game. I've watched every single one, for better or worse, every last bitter second of them, man. I mean, sometimes I get mad and I turn the game off. I end up turning it right back on. I'm like, I can't do it. I got to see it, So
they're like a drug. The one game that I just share is I went to Atlanta. Cowboys are playing the Falcons. I want to say it was Michael Vick's rookie year. My wife, girlfriend at the time, she was living in Atlanta, so flew up to go to the game. And we had Ryan Leaf was our quarterback. I don't even know if you remember that game, or it was probably 2000. It's got to be 2000. When was 9/11? It was right. It was
2001.
It was right. So it had been 2001, 2002 season, somewhere in there. Or no, we were just, because we met August before 9/11.
Yeah.
I talked to myself, and I talked to the Falcons. I'm going to talk a little noise of a Falcon fan, and I'm telling them how we're going to beat them because we got Ryan Leaf. Nothing was right. Now he's with the Cowboys. They're going to figure this thing out, and he looked like shit. And our defense somehow, Michael Vick, if you remember the history of Vick, he never really played well against Dallas. Dallas, for the most part, really kept him in check, and he didn't do that good either. It was a boring game. It was a terrible game, but we ended up losing. But I mean, that was probably the low point of where I could just talk myself into a win, and then they stink, and they stink it up, and then you're upset. And then I always say by Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, now you're like, man, we're going to win the next game, and it never worked out. I'm just so happy because people love to bash the Cowboys, but this team, we've had a run of being very competitive.
Super
Bowl to put the ice on the cake, but this team's been competitive.
Yeah, and that's what I consider myself fairly fortunate because I get we haven't done much in the playoffs, but we're one of those teams that, like, we haven't been one of the bottom feeders where we're just terrible. We haven't had those seasons in a while. I mean, we were lucky because we found, it happened to have Romo, and then we rolled right from Romo into Dak. That doesn't happen very often for very many teams.
No.
I mean, look at how many quarterbacks Cleveland has went through. I mean, they have went through, I lost count. They're well up into the double digits. I think they're in the teens now, but it's funny because I remember when 95, you win the Super Bowl, and then you start on the downcline a little bit after that, and Troy Aikman's gone, and we're shuffling through all these quarterbacks. And I remember when we got Quincy Carter and we started getting a little bit better. And I remember that first playoff game that we had Quincy Carter, I think it was in 2003. I know it was in 2003, actually. We went to playoffs against Carolina. And I was so jacked up for that game, so excited because we're back in the playoffs, and I'm like, we're doing this. And I had a huge barbecue at the house. I was having people over. I think I did. I had a keg that day. I bought a keg. And I'm just pounding back shots and and by halftime, that game is it's over. Carolina was stomping a mud hole in us.
Was that Jake Delhomme? Was that the Jake?
I think it was. I think that was their quarterback for him. Yeah. I just remember, waking up. I fell asleep about the third quarter because I drank a little bit too much. The excitement was too much for me. I fell asleep and woke up, and I remember thinking to myself, I looked at the score, and it was the end of the fourth quarter, and I'm looking at it, I'm like, I'm glad I fell asleep in that third quarter, man, and missed the third and fourth, most of the fourth quarter. That was just It was horrible, man. It was horrible. I thought we were back to the glory days, and we got our heads stomped in.
No, I remember that year. That's when Bill Parcells, he said you can't call them losers anymore when they finally got that, winning record.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, and I think if Parcells stayed, I think we would have got a chance. I think we would have got a Super Bowl if he had stayed. I just think the team was right there, and just everything that happened with Seattle, and then obviously Jones can only stay so long with a personality like Bill Parcells or Jimmy Johnson. You got a short shelf life, and he
Yeah.
just didn't enough time to hit it. But I think he would
Yeah.
have got a Super Bowl with him, because I still we tried to get Brad Johnson. We had some technical issues, and we're going to get him back on. But the 2007 season, Brad Johnson was the backup, and I really, I know we wanted to pick his brain to really get the mindset of what that team was. 13-3.
Yeah.
They were rolling, and they go against the Giants, who they beat twice. So remember this, if you're hoping for that to happen again, with Philly beat the Giants twice, it's hard to beat a team 3 times. But Dallas was head and shoulders above, better than them, and to lose that to me was the year where if they were going to go to the Super Bowl, just everything was together. The defense was good, the offense was explosive, and yeah, love to be a fly on the wall during that playoff and leading up to it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I loved Parcells as a coach, and I thought the same thing, after we started winning these games, and then that year that we had the 13-win season, I was like, here we go. I was like, we got that, got that number 1 seed, we got a game at home, and shit, man. Those some tough memories, dude. They still sit in my gut when I think about them. There's those plays that stand, because that's the game where Creighton dropped the ball, right? I mean, it basically would have been to the house because there was nobody over the coverage of safety. That'd have been a touchdown, and he just drops it. Oh God.
And I thought we were, years go by, the memory just isn't as strong as it used to be. I had a feel. I thought we were down, but we were up 17-14.
17-14.
I thought we were down most of the game. Then, I always have this thing in my head. If we get the lead, and that's even like the Washington game, as bad as that was, if we get the lead, when we get the lead, we're going to beat them. And I thought the Giants, that thing, if we got the lead, we'd beat them. If he catches that ball, now it's 24-14. Yeah, I mean that sealed it, and then you can go back to the Packer, the Packer game. I know they talk about the Dez catch we've talked about before. The DeMarco Murray
fumble.
That fumble was a killer. Even if he didn't make it to the house, I mean that he was gone for a lot. I mean he was going to be deep in the red zone if he didn't take it to the house. And that's another one. And it seems like the Cowboys historically, bad things just seem to happen, and it looks like maybe that's changing now. Maybe we got the good vibes and good mojo going this year, and it'd be great for Dak. I think he's a hell of a quarterback and even a better person. So
yeah,
I'm really hoping this is the get this over the hump. We got the pressure off. Let's put out them 49ers and then take care of the business next week, whoever it is.
Yeah, I agree, man. That's I'd love it for Dak more than really more than anybody else on that team, to be honest with you. I mean, I think, obviously, I think they all deserve to get a Super Bowl. But, I mean, Dak has been through so much. He's handled so much adversity. He's been criticized. And I mean, that it doesn't matter who it is, because there's a lot of them that criticize him out there. But, man, I sure would love to see, there's a lot of them. But Colin Cowherd's one of them that's been critical of him for a while.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, the way he talks about him, Colin Cowherd's one of those guys that when you hear him talk, he thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. And it's almost that he talks with an arrogance about what he knows. He doesn't speak it as opinion. He speaks it as fact. And I mean, I'd love to see Dak win a Super Bowl, because I want to just hear that dude. Go ahead and eat your crow and shut up and quit talking about Dak. He's a franchise quarterback. And I mean, he's our guy.
No, yeah, I mean, and I always just tell me, what are you going to get? All right, who are you getting? All right, you got to get rid of him. What do you get? We've been through those years.
And there's been a couple people throughout the season after Dak, and he had some struggles and stuff, and there has been some people, and they're like, they'll sit there and they'll say, we should have kept going with Cooper Rush, and I'm like, you either got a personal vendetta against Dak or you just don't watch and understand football. Because with Cooper Rush, we're averaging like 19 points a game. Dak Prescott comes back and we're averaging 35 points a game. That's no coincidence. You can't say that's the running game because the running game was there when Cooper Rush was there. So you can't say it's a running game. It's the quarterback, plain and simple. Dak does things Cooper Rush just simply cannot do from an athletic standpoint, from running the ball, from arm power, everything. He's just a better quarterback, hands down. And Dak's our guy. We're not going to start over. We're not going to draft another quarterback. Dak's the franchise. And, you know, he's shown he can do it. He can shown he can do it in big moments. You know, it's time for him to go ahead and, you know, and cement his legacy in this postseason, man. And I'm excited to see him do it. I hope he does it. And, you know, but, you know, even if he doesn't, if for some reason something happens, we don't get it done. Yeah, he's still my guy. I'm still sticking with him. I've seen enough to say that he's the guy that can get us there. Absolutely.
He gives us the best chance to
He does. Yeah.
And give a shout out, you know, really everyone in the chat. I'm kind of going through it, trying to follow it. But Dustin, you know, I you know, him and his dad see him at a lot of games. He went down to Tampa, dedicated fan. But, you know, we talked about this, and, you know, he's a younger generation, and he hadn't seen the success that we have. And so that's why there is a lot of skepticism, so to speak, and some, you know, some angst. And I get it. And I mean, I understand it. I mean, it is, you know, if we're all going to be honest with each other, inexcusable that this team has not won a Super Bowl in 20 years. It is. There's no, but winning a Super Bowl isn't easy. I mean, 49ers haven't won a Super Bowl since 94. You know,
That's right.
they've won, but you know, if Dallas, here's the deal. If Dallas goes to a Super Bowl and loses, what do you think people are going to do? They're not going to say, oh, well, look, Dallas got, they went to Super Bowl down that we can't talk. They're going to say, oh, they couldn't win the big one. Here we go. Choked in the Super Bowl. That's just the way it is. There's only one team that is going to, that can be happy, and the fans, you can't really say much. Every other team you can make fun of. I got Raider fans, for God's sakes, talking about us saying that we're going to lose. I mean, they were out in week one. I mean, but they're still running their mouths. You got all these fans that just run their mouths. And, you know, Washington, I had a Washington fan start smack to me. I mean, it's never end. You know?
So, I mean, the way that I phrase it and the way that I shut people up when they start talking about that, because I've said it to Niners fans too. You know, they'll sit there and talk about playoff wins and that they've been to the Super Bowl. And I said, man, look, when it boils down to it, playoff wins are participation trophies. That's what it is. Here's your ribbon. You participated, but you didn't win the big one. Playoff wins don't mean anything. Like, I mean, do you think that the Buffalo Bills franchise is happy that they made it to 4 Super Bowls and lost all 4? Hell no. Would they trade those? Would they trade those 4 appearances for just 1 Super Bowl win? I guarantee you they would. I mean, playoff wins, that's what they are. Playoff wins they're participation trophies because it doesn't mean a thing if you don't win the ring. And that's what the Cowboys are on a mission to do. So you're right. The Cowboys get there to the Super Bowl and they lose it. You know, you're going to hear it. You're going to hear it. So
and Troy Aikman start 1-15. He actually didn't start 1-15. I think he played 9 games. He was 0-9.
They went 1
Steve Walsh got our only victory. That was a crazy time, and Steve Walsh is he's been one. He said he'd do the show, then he backed out, then he was going to do it, and I really want to get Steve Walsh on here. You know, the Miami stuff is great, but that whole scenario with him and Troy Aikman and Jimmy Johnson, you know, them picking up Steve Walsh in supplemental draft. And I've read Jimmy Johnson's book, and I think I've plugged it a few times. If you hadn't, you know, if you guys hadn't got Swagger, it's a phenomenal book. It's a great read. It's a great audio book too. If you don't like, I listened to a lot of it on the audio, just on, you know, driving around or whatever. But it really, if you're a younger Cowboys fan, it gives you a lot of insight and a lot of knowledge and a lot of history. But that was an interesting one because you're getting Troy Aikman, and he gets Steve Walsh. And he said he got Steve Walsh knowing that he was going to trade him. I mean, it was kind of trade bait, but he was his safety blanket because he had him in college and he felt pretty good about it. And that quarterback, you know, the room was split. You had so many Miami guys that came with him, and then you had the others. And some of these Miami guys were loyal to Steve Walsh because, I mean, he just won them, national championship and this and that. And I forgot who the coach was for the Cowboys, one of the coaches, and he's just like, are we seriously having this conversation? Steve Walsh to Troy Aikman, it's not even close. And even Michael Irvin, came out later. He said, dude, it's not even, Steve Walsh was his quarterback in Miami, but it wasn't even close.
Yeah.
And I'd love to get that story because those are interesting times with the Cowboys because there was a couple years. I mean, Troy Aikman, people may not know, Troy Aikman, he wanted out of Dallas at one point until Norv Turner got there.
Yeah, it's funny because sometimes when I think about Troy Aikman, he gets I don't think he gets enough respect in terms of outside of Cowboys fans, because when you talk about the legendary Cowboys quarterbacks, they don't mention Troy Aikman a lot, but I mean I think Troy Aikman and like in this era would, I mean, absolutely light it up.
Yeah.
I mean, because we want to talk about a guy that had accuracy. I mean, the dude was pinpoint. I mean, he was accurate, and not to mention that he was clutch. I mean, you put him in a pressure situation and game on the line, and like he was the man. I mean, and people, it's funny because that's where I started to notice that people always seem to discredit Dallas no matter what they do. They'll say, well, they had the greatest offense. Emmitt Smith was only great because he had a great offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, was it great?
Derek Classic and the other guy, Sherman Williams, they didn't run too well when Emmitt Smith held out. Derek Classic,
that's right.
Back.
That's right.
Same offensive line.
Nope. And did the offensive line, did they help him in his longevity? I mean, he had a long career where he stayed healthy, where he was productive for many years. I mean, I remember how many seasons he had where he was up over 1,000 yards every year. So I don't know. It's just, it's like that pattern that they always take away from, Dak Prescott's rookie year. It's Zeke and that great offensive line. They'll always try to find a way to discredit people. But Troy Aikman was, I mean, he's, in my opinion, he's one of the, he's up there, in my opinion, top 5 all-time quarterbacks. A lot of people won't put him there, but he's in there for me.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely one of the best. And the thing is with Aikman, he was just unselfish. And
Right.
the unfortunate part of it for him too is, what Jerry Jones, did to Jimmy Johnson and then bringing in Switzer, that destroyed Aikman's career. I mean, he had some bad years and his career didn't end as great as it should have been. And it wasn't his fault. And it was always disappointing. I didn't go to as many games then. I only went to I was a kid. I had no money. So I went to like one football game. But I remember there was a game near the end of his career where the crowd just booed him,
Yeah.
Booed him field and stuff. And it was really sad because he was doing everything he can with Jerry, who was just at that time, everything was just so dysfunctional with these coaches and with this and these players. And I mean, you look at some of the receivers he had to throw to, it's like, Jesus God. It was really unfortunate. He never was able to have that career that some of these other quarterbacks had. And it's, but in that run, with Jimmy Johnson and then what they could do with those players. I mean, no one, he had the most wins in the 90s of any quarterback. And, and his playoff record was pretty damn good, especially, the 4 years of their big run with Jimmy Johnson.
Well, yeah, man. I mean, he was a big enough. He was a favorite enough of mine that I named my youngest son Troy. So, I mean,
yeah,
it's yeah. So, but yeah, the glory days of old, man, and and all that with it all ties in with this weekend because like we've talked about, the Niners were the team that we had to get past in the 90s to become that dynasty that we became. They were the Goliath that we had to defeat. And, and I don't necessarily know that I would call them the Goliath right now because, they're not that dominant as they were back then, but they did beat us last year and the roles are reversed. So last year we're at home playing at home. They're coming in, the media is up on Dallas. Dallas has got the better team. San Francisco comes in there and shocks us, but there was plenty of people picking Dallas in that game. I think Dallas was the favorite in that game. I feel many people were saying Dallas was the better team. Now this year the roles are reversed. Dallas is the underdog. San Francisco is this team that's better than Dallas. It's going to have better coached, better defense. They're going to beat them, and it's time to buckle the chin straps and find out. 60 minutes.
No, it's going to come down to it. I mean, all the talk is going to be over. All that stuff is going to be done, and we're going to find out how this team, how they do. So, leave you with this. We'll wrap it up. And again, thanks for all the chats. Try to get them on there. I mean, all you guys can't name all the names, but everyone's been popping in and out, man. It's been doing good. But I'll leave you with this: the chat, clear it up, and let's get your prediction on the game, and then we'll get that time to fill up. And while we're doing that, so Kelly, what is going to be what's your day going to be like? Where are you watching the game? What do you got your mindset doing? What are you wearing? All that kind of good stuff.
Well, so I'm going to watch the game here. I'm a very superstitious person when it comes to stuff like that. I'll wear the same jersey, watch the game here, sit in the same spot that I was here. I got my best friend that's a 49ers fan. He's going to be coming over with his girlfriend to watch the game. He was here last year. I'm hoping he leaves more disappointed than he did last year, because last year it was me that. But I've watched the Cowboys in the regular season beat up on his Niners a couple of times, but still. So I'm going to be here. I'm going to watch it. Probably make a pretty good spread. I don't know what I'm going to cook yet, but I'm going to make up some good food. But my prediction for this game, I think the Cowboys are going to be able to put up points on this defense, despite what the mainstream media thinks. And I got the Cowboys winning this game. I'm going to say the Cowboys win it 33-24.
Yeah. I got 31-28. I think it's going to be a close game. I think Dallas, I think to your point, I think Dallas is going to put up points. I think they definitely can put up points. Problem I have is my wife's birthday's tomorrow, and my mom's 70th birthday is Sunday.
Boy.
So, some people had asked me, "Hey, Mike, you going to San Francisco?" One, your boy ain't spending that kind of money to go to a football game. Those tickets are ridiculous,
insane.
And I can't look my kids in the eyes and tell them that I'm going to spend a bunch of, end up spending $3 or $4 grand when it's all said and done to go to a football game. So that's not going to happen. So I got to watch it in a cave. My mom's 70th birthday. So I kind of, I did the smart thing. So I said, "Hey, Mom," I said, "why don't we have Saturday? That way everyone can stay late. We can have a good time, right? Everyone can go out." So I got them talked into Saturday. My wife we're going to go out tomorrow night. But so my mom or my family, brothers and stuff, we're gonna have a party for on Saturday. So then my Sunday is clear. Then my wife kind of, she was like, "Hey, why don't we, I did this thing and I looked and we've got some miles on the flights and this and that." And I said, "Maybe we can go to Dallas and they're having a big watch party and go there." And I said, "Well, it's my mom's 70th birthday." I said, "Yes." She's like, "Yeah, that's right. I forgot about it." I said, "So, we can't do that." So we're going to watch it here. My hope is, in the perfect world, Dallas wins, Giants win, and your boy's going to be at AT&T.
Getting down to Dallas. There you go.
You cannot. I don't know how you cannot. So.
No, you got to go down there, man. If they win, we got to have Tag in the house, man. But happy birthday to Miss Tag and Mama Tag. Hope you guys have a good celebration with that. Birthdays always got to be celebrated big. So happy birthday to the both of them.
Yeah. So everyone's thinking Dallas is going to win, and that's the way it's supposed to be. So I'm glad I don't have to yell at nobody. I don't have to yell at anybody. We do appreciate you guys chiming in. We have a great time, and I think you've kind of seen. There's some plans in the works for the show. There's plans in the works to, for Cowboy fans. Obviously, Monday nights, you guys tune in on Monday nights. Jimmy D and I, we talk Cowboys, but we try and mix it up with a little other, more general sports and other teams. And then here this is Cowboy country. This is where we do all the Cowboy business Thursday night, working on some guests. Make sure you guys subscribe. I got something in the works. The man told me, he said, "Mike, I will definitely come on your show. He's working on a biography and working on this." All I'll say is he's a Super Bowl champ, 3-time Super Bowl champion for the Dallas Cowboys, and he wasn't no backup. He was a starting offensive lineman. I'll just leave it at that. So we got some big things coming up on this show to really have some fun with Cowboy fans. So, make sure you guys subscribe. Make sure you're following. I don't even need to give our Twitter stuff, man. If they don't know you and they don't know me by now, they got a problem, right? So,
that's right. I see Fred Jones in there. I'm pretty sure that's cut by Jones. And if he's cooking some ribs and some jalapeno pie, I might have to go down to San Antonio and watch the game with him, man. I've seen some of that cooking he's putting on there. So I'm loving that. There we go. 28-24.
And I like it. And if you can look behind me straight above, that's a cut by Jones special. He did a beautiful, beautiful picture. It was my family's first trip to AT&T. And, man, he did it up right. And it's in the Cowboys cave. It'll probably be there until your boy is, I won't be in the ground. I'll be burned up somewhere. I'm not going, and they're not burying me nowhere. But when I'm gone, that's how that thing's gonna be there as long, and then hopefully my kids one of them will claim it. It's a beautiful piece. So if you guys
work,
man, you got to hit him up because he does beautiful work.
Absolutely.
So all right, I appreciate it. Appreciate the love, everyone in the chat. I think maybe next week, we couldn't do it this week because we had some calls and stuff, and we're working on some other stuff. We might do a call-in show. It could be an impromptu one, so you guys, keep your eye up. And boys we're hanging out the house. We got a little NFC. If we win, we might have to. I don't know. We might have to do something. So we'll see what happens. So stay tuned. And Kelly, as always, man, I appreciate you jumping on. Always a great time. You always bring it, and we got to handle that business, right?
Absolutely. We're gonna handle the business. We're gonna get after it Sunday. It's all the talk is over. It's time to line them up, buckle the chin straps, and go for 60 minutes. Thanks everybody for showing up, man. The chat was popping tonight, so Cowboys Nation showed up as always. So we appreciate it.
Thank you. I'll leave you with the video from Tampa outside the stadium when we slapped them around. You guys be good. Good luck to the Cowboys. We're gonna get it done. We'll see you guys next week.
Woo! What is up, Cowboys Nation? You just saw what happened tonight to our good man, Tom Brady. All the hate, all the talk, all the crap we had to listen to. I just got one thing to say. You guys, take this as an experience. Find somewhere else to hang your hat because this is my world and I control it. And Cowboys Nation, we just getting this party started. So you haters, keep bringing it because I love it. Can you feel me? Can you